Hi folks, Chuck here with Hillbilly Half Acre Homestead. It's a beautiful sunny fall afternoon. We thought we would give you a rabbit update. We're going to start right here. We're going to try to give you a look at everybody today. We're going to get to the intro. Take your time. If you like, get you a cold drink, pop a bag of popcorn, because this may take a few minutes. We'll stick around though. We'll be right back. Okay folks, we're back. This is Pearl, and this is the little buck to be named later. I probably told you before, but been giving them a little, we picked up some bread scrap. We've been giving them a little bit of bread. Gives them something to nibble on. A lot of people will tell you that it's not good for them. That's bull. We've given it to rabbits for years. We don't make it their sole food source, but it is a nice little treat for them. Now, come here, Pearl. Come here, sweet. Come here, sweet. Oh, hang on, I got you. Hang on, I'm not going to drop you. This is Pearl. I probably told you before. She's getting up there. She's becoming a senior citizen. She's just, I don't know, just doesn't seem right to go out to the rabbitry without seeing Pearl. She is expecting a new litter. A lot of times what I'll do as far as my weaning goes, she had 3. Well, the doe was spoken for shortly after it was born, just like usually is the case with Pearl. And it's already gone to its forever home. She also had a little black buck, the same size as this one. And he is by himself. He's living out here outside. We'll get to him later. But what I do is, I weaned a couple. You know, I weaned the little doe, I weaned the little buck, I left one. And then, when Pearl was ready to rebreed, I went ahead and rebred her, and then normally, over the next week or two, she will naturally start to dry up as she prepares to give birth to a new litter. Okay? Now, while that process is going on, I like to leave for at least a week or two one baby in with the doe. That one baby's going to continue to nurse until Pearl is completely dry, and that way there's no leftover milk in her mammary glands that could sour and get infected, cause mastitis or anything. You've watched enough of my videos, you've heard me talk about mastitis enough that realize that I take it very seriously, and I go to some trouble to try to prevent it, because an ounce of prevention is worth, well, to me, is worth more than a pound of cure. But Pearl, I don't know anybody's exact any of these, their exact dates. I've got them plugged into my computer program so my mind doesn't have to remember all this stuff. I'll show you the little guy. This is, he's about 9 weeks old. Well, he's 8 weeks old. He should have been weaned about a week ago, but as she dries up, he's naturally going to be weaned anyway, and then he'll be moved probably out into the cage with his black brother. He's got a little black brother that looks just like Pepper, you know, who's the daddy of all of them. Anyway, this guy doesn't have a name. If you're in the area, he's just a beautiful blue. Look at that. If you're in the area and you need a little blue Netherland dwarf buck, he is looking for a home. Anyway, and we also have a black. If you've watched enough of our videos, you know who Pepper is, our little Netherland dwarf buck. I have a black that is litter mate and brother to this one. And also have him, he's ready. I'm not going to need to keep him. He can go to another home. Now this one, you'll probably think, well, hey, isn't this one out of the same litter? Well, no, not quite. This is Calypso. And Calypso is just about, careful baby, I got you. Calypso is just about 6 months old. She wants to go back home. She'll crawl up my shoulder and jump into that cage. She's done it before. Okay, take it easy, baby. We just want to take a look at you. She used to be so tame, but I've not handled her since as she's gotten older and what have you. I just haven't handled her as much. I had considered, and I still haven't ruled it out, selling my Netherland dwarf herd completely and just going with another breed or expanding the 2 breeds to the 2 other breeds that I have. But anyway, this is Calypso. She is expecting her first litter. She just bred within the last week, so hopefully she's bred. you know, naturally she's not far enough along. I haven't been able to palpate or confirm any pregnancy or anything like that. And if you've been following some of our posts on Facebook, you'll know that no matter how much we think we've confirmed a pregnancy, we can still find out very easily that it's not as confirmed as we thought it was. Because old Zoe just knew exactly which buttons to push. I thought she was pregnant, and sure enough, she skipped. So, okay, Calypso, get back in there, sweetie. That's Calypso. This is daughter. She is actually sister to the little buck over here from a different litter. Pepper and Pearl is both of their parents. Okay, now pretty soon we're going to start with the next generation, because if I didn't tell you, Jasper is bred back to Pearl, and Pepper is bred back to Calypso. Now I have a special reason for doing that, and it's just kind of an experimental project that I'm going through, and I'm just kind of doing some line breeding there and what have you. Squirrely Girl here is, unless somebody has missed, Squirrely Girl here, dwarf breeders would a bud or big ugly doe. And the reason for that is they only can have one dwarf gene. And that's what makes them small and have the nice short ears. Now you'll see she's got big long ears and a big body. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because here's the deal. If you don't know anything about rabbit genetics, I'm going to teach you something here real quick. Okay, the dwarf gene, they can only have, if you've got a dwarf rabbit, a true dwarf Netherland, they're going to be smaller. They're going to weigh less. Their ears are going to be shorter. Okay, the ones that don't get a dwarf gene, one, you can't get a dwarf gene from both parents. The kid can't. That's where a peanut comes from, and it's lethal. If they get a dwarf gene from each parent, 2 copies of the dwarf gene, and it's lethal to the kit, and it's not going to make it. Okay, I call that a peanut. It's usually, I have heard of them living as much as 2 months of age, but usually within the first few days after birth, they'll die. Here, Squirrely. Squirrely Girl, quit being so squirrely. Quit being so squirrely. Oh, here, turn around here. Turn around here. Yeah, no wonder. It's, when you got so many folks, it's hard to keep up with these nails. Trust me. I know some breeders that don't even bother, and, well, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but we won't get into all that. Anyway, Squirrely Girl here would not show any interest in receiving a buck, so she is still open. We hope to get her bred. She is, unless somebody else on the place has missed, she's the only doe on the place that's not bred. Now, she's pretty. You know, this chestnut is a pretty color. And honestly, Pepper, he's got the dwarf gene, right? She doesn't. So actually, that's a pretty good combination, because here's the deal. Pearl had 3 babies. Well, she might have had 4 or 5, you know. And a lot of times those peanuts get reabsorbed into their system. And I don't know exactly how that works. I'm not a veterinarian. I just know that it does. Sometimes they give birth to them, and they're super small. They don't grow, and they die within a day or 2. Sometimes they don't even grow to be big enough to give birth to. Somehow the doe can reabsorb those peanuts back into their system internally. Anyway, my point is, when you have a bud or a big ugly doe, which is basically, like I said, just a doe that should be a dwarf, that is a dwarf breed but doesn't have the dwarf gene. Now, the deal is Pepper has the dwarf gene. Jasper has the dwarf gene. Selected, well, not Pepper. I bought him originally 2 or 3 years ago. But Jasper, I selected him specifically for that reason. If I keep one of the blue bucks later on, I will pick them specifically for that reason. And what happens is when you use the buds for your brood does, okay, you can still end up with some nice, showable, some nice to the breed standard kids. But you don't end up with the peanuts. With only one parent having the dwarf gene, you're never going to be able to have a kit that gets 2 copies of it. So you're not going to have any lethal peanuts. Now what you're going to have is you're going to have some babies, okay, in a litter, and they're going to be, get in there, and they are going to be, some of them will be buds or bubs. Now a bub, a big ugly buck, there's a bud and a bud and a bub, and it's same thing. One's a buck and one's a doe, okay? But what you want to do is you want to take one of those and breed it with an opposite that has the dwarf gene, and you don't have to deal with the loss of peanuts every litter. the culls, or you know, a lot of the buds and the bulbs that you end up with in the litter is extra for that reason. Those are ones that, you know, you send home to somebody, let them make a pet out of it. Or somebody that wants to go into a breeding program. If they've got a nice dwarf carrying buck or doe, these will make a lot better. Now they will average to a couple more kits per litter. Because I assume because of their larger size, plus the fact that they're not going to lose a couple every litter due to the dwarf gene causing them, you know, the lethal part of that. Anyway, that's everybody here, and here is a new addition to our family. You have never seen this rabbit before. I think everybody by now probably knows we lost Daisy. You know, Daisy won the grand champion at the Clay County Fair just a few weeks ago. And we came out just about a week ago and she was gone. She was laying right here in the nest box. And she was gone. We don't know what happened. I think it was possibly a gastrointestinal problem. Okay, folks. I have people that yell at me in comments for scruffing rabbits. This is exactly one reason why I scruff rabbits. Sometimes they give me no choice. This doorway is not big enough for me to really get my second arm in here to support under their butt and hang on to them. And she won't let me. I've tried it 3 times here now. I'll try one more time. This is a new rabbit, okay? She's not used to our techniques, how we handle babies, and she's not used to being handled much at all. See, she's getting wild. Okay? The only way for me to restrain her is the way I don't like to do, is right there. Now, as soon as I get her out of the cage, you see, I release her, and I hold her the way that I intended to get her in the first place. Okay? That's why I scruff rabbits, when I have to. Otherwise, you pick them up underneath the belly, pick them up, and use this hand. Pick them up off the table like this, or like this. Okay? If they won't let you carry them like this, tuck that head right in between your elbow and your body. Kind of restrain the head a little bit and set their butt right there in your hand. Now keep in mind, if you don't make them feel secure and tight, if they think they're going to fall, they're going to start to kick. See where those nails are? One of 2 things are going to happen. Either you're going to get a big old tear in your shirt and a scratch right across your belly here, or you're going to get a big old scratch on your wrist right here. Okay, so what I do is I try to push their feet up against my body, especially if it's one that I know is going to be unruly, because it hasn't gotten used to us handling them as much as we do, especially if it's a new rabbit. Okay, hey, there's another side note for you. But this is Serenity. Serenity is a broken black otter, and the way you can tell an otter, if you don't know, is, for one thing, see the way the ears are light inside and they're circled with kind of a chestnut color around the edge of the ears? See this chestnut color right here? They also have a little triangle. Serenity, not so much a triangle, but got a little triangle of color that comes right off behind the ears. Okay? See here around the eyes? See that light chestnut looking color around the eyes? Okay? I don't think the otters are that much different. I don't think the otters are that much different inside. Or inside, underneath I meant. Duh. And the tails, you know. But that's pretty much all you have to go on. Now, like, oh, let me think, who have I got here? I guess all my brokens are otters, aren't they? Anyway, if this was just a regular solid color otter, or solid color broken, I mean, oh, I hope I don't confuse nobody. This right here would all be black. See all that? And you would see inside the ear all this little short puzz inside the ear, and this right here around the edge of the ear, outlining the ear. That would all be the same color as this black and this black. Okay, that's the difference in a broken otter and just a regular broken. Okay, but this is Serenity. She is bred, hopefully, but Serenity has missed a couple of times. I'm not so sure it's her fault. I think it could have something to do with the buck, because the same buck that she was bred to also had several other does that he was bred to miss. So it could be a heat-related sterility thing that he hasn't come out of yet. We don't know. Okay, get in there. Oh, easy, baby. You don't have to jump. Oh my goodness. Now here it is, Twix. You all know Twix. She is due to kindle this coming Wednesday. Yep, she weaned her babies. I rebred her at about 6 weeks of age. So if she is successful in giving birth to this litter, I probably will try to wean them early off of her. And I'm going to give her probably till up in December, maybe, before I put her back into breeding rotation. And I'm not happy with her. I'm not happy with her coat. And she's down in weight some too. I thought she would spring right back. We've been giving her full feed ever since and taking all the babies off of her and everything, you know. So, but I don't know. It just doesn't always work the way we planned. So I'm not happy with the way things are going with Twix right now. And trust me, I'm not happy with her not feeling good and not doing well and not being in as good a condition as she can be. So we will keep a close eye on her, because if she has the litter, she's not going to put on any weight. Especially if she has a litter like she normally has. Now we might try that too if somebody else kindles. I don't know who's due to kindle next after Twix. No Salt. I got to Salt today. Yeah, but she's due to kindle today sometime. But she may kindle in the morning. Sangria was due on the 6th, but she didn't actually kindle until the next morning, which was actually the 7th. But just like PJ, Grace Hollow Rabbitry says, you know, a lot of times she'll breed hers late in the evening, and so when she does that, a lot of times they breed on the morning of that 32nd day instead of being right on the 31st day. So that's probably what's going on with me too, because being it was so hot when these guys were bred, a lot of times I did wait until late in the evening. It had cooled off a lot when we started back breeding, but it was still a little warmer through the mid part of the day than I like for it to be. So we waited until late in the evening. But anyway, this is Iris. Iris is going to be a mommy. Iris likes that nest box. She's filled that thing up. Keeps eating the straw. You see this half a container of pellets? Remember, we raised these ladies on straight alfalfa hay, right? See these alfalfa pellets? Well, they're actually rabbit pellets. They're not just alfalfa, but they're alfalfa-based rabbit pellet. That's been about that full for 3 days in a row now. But we put about half a flake of hay in this nest box every single day, and she eats all of it. She wants the hay. So these gals were raised on. Come here, baby. Come here. Let me see you. Now see if I can get my second hand on her. See, now I could pick her up. I didn't put my hand here, but I didn't grab her coat and scruff her. Oh, Sambo. Anyway, this is Iris. We've had her around a while. Now, if you'll notice, she's kind of a little on the small side, but that's a good thing because we've got big bucks. Okay, and she's due to kindle, again, I don't know these dates. If you look up Hillbilly Half Acre Homestead on Facebook, the fan page. Now, there's a group on there, too. I don't update that. That needs to be deleted. But there's a fan page. Yep. Come here, baby. We're going to stay right here a minute. But there's a fan page. You can like us on there, and we're always writing on there who bred today, who bred yesterday, who's due to kindle, who we palpated, and what have you. I'm always putting on there something about that, and like I don't even know if she's far enough along to, but yeah, she's got buns in the oven, so I don't know exactly how far along she is. I'd say, if I had to guess, I'd say she's probably about halfway. So she's probably, oh, easy baby, she's got a couple of weeks. Okay, back in you go. Now I'm not going to pick up Salt, so my camera lady will have to swing around here. Salt, you see, she's in the nest box. She has been just working her tail off. Well, it's still there, but she's been working on a nest and working on a nest and working on a nest. And
she's due any time.
Today is the 9th of October, and she is due on the 9th. Now, she may follow in Sangria's. Lead. Yeah, I'm picking your fur. I know, baby. Come on. Come on. I still love you. You want to come out there and let us see you?
She's breathing kind of hard.
Yeah, she might go anytime this evening. She'll probably pull a little fur first. Salt is always pulled first. She's never not pulled fur. But anyway, she could be getting ready. So she'd probably like us to get on with our video and get away and leave her alone.
Oh.
Hershey didn't mind putting on a show for us here about a week or so ago. This is Sunday. Look at that. I don't know exactly what that means, but they've all been doing that since we put the ceramic tile in there. They'll take their paws and rub it. And she seems to be enjoying it. Otherwise, I mean, you'll notice most of them. Now, glow stick is not on hers. Salt's not on hers right now. But I come out here a lot. You can see there, you can see poop on that ceramic tile where Iris has set up there. Twix hardly ever gets off of hers. Serenity doesn't hardly ever get off of hers. So, now some of these have been having thin spots on their back feet. And I'm hoping that the ceramic tile will help a lot of that. Because, you know, I preach and preach and preach. You need to cull, you need to cull. If you're having sore hocks, you need to cull and get rid of them. In the mini wrecks, you can't. Okay, they naturally have that short, thick fur. It's thick, but it's not, I say thick. It's short and it's nice, but it's not, you know what, it's not thick and dense really like, say, New Zealand or the Netherlands fur like they have on their feet. So they're all getting sore spots, or thin spots. Not so much sore, they're just, it's like they're rubbing the fur off. And I wanted to try this and see if this would help before getting to the point where we have a bunch of them with sores and abscesses and what have you on their feet. So I guess, I don't know, y'all probably didn't want to take a look at Hershey's babies at 9 days old now, right? Probably not. Well,
You know they do.
too bad, we're going to do it anyway. Hershey, for the last couple of days, has had a couple of nest guests, for lack of a better term. I wish you could feel these little guys. Oh my goodness, they are just chunk. And until this morning, she's had an extra one or two for the last couple of days.
2.
Well, no, because you gave Sangria one of them back yesterday.
Yeah.
I want you to look at these. Look at these bellies. These are 9 days old, folks, from the video. You know, you watched the video. I hope you watched the video. I went to a lot of trouble getting up, coming out here at 6:30 in the morning to film that, which I got a kick out of it too, but I got more of a kick out of it knowing I was going to be able to share it with all you guys. And there's a lot of people, guys and gals that is, there's a lot of people that don't ever get a chance to see something like that. I mean, we're rabbit breeders, and in the last year, this is what, the second time we've watched one being born, and we probably had what, 30 litters born out here.
Yeah.
So it's not a very common thing. These two are chocolate. See, that's a solid chocolate. And at 9 days old, I just wanted to show you. We just noticed this when we came out to do the video. See its eyes?
Yeah.
This big black chunker right here. This is the biggest one, this big black one, and it looks black, but it doesn't look, I don't know, it's got kind of a dusty look to it. I don't know, maybe we'll tell more about it when it gets bigger. It could be, I don't know. Hershey has otter in her background, but the way I understand it, they don't carry the otter over self. If they have the otter gene in their body, it'll show. And she doesn't show the otter gene on her. So I'm thinking she's got to be just the regular double A, self-colored. So I don't really understand what this coloring is coming from, unless it's just dirt that's come out of the hay or something. I don't. Here, let's see. Did any dirt come out? Okay, it ain't that. Okay, this is 3. This is, anyway, like I said, the little black. Okay, you go back in there. There's a little, this one here, we've got to keep that now on. I'm seeing some little crusty stuff right there. I hope we don't have, I think that might just be a piece of hay or something that hopefully it doesn't get in its eye, cause a problem. At this age, when they're just starting to get their eyes open, keep an eye out for a nest box eye. They can get a little infection in there and you not even know it, and they can lose an eye. That's what happened to Zoe. You know, Zoe, she's our big red New Zealand doe. She's only has the use of one of her eyes. This is the other. There's 3 chocolates. This is the other chocolate. See? Just opening up. Yep, just opening up. That one's not quite ready yet. No. Put the fuzz back in there. Anyway, so in a few days, these guys will have their eyes open, and probably by Friday, this is Sunday, probably by Friday we'll have them jumping up out of the nest box. Probably, maybe even before, because these guys are opening their eyes about 3 to 4 days ahead of schedule. At least ahead of the schedule where Twix's litter opened their eyes. But keep in mind, Twix was feeding 8, where Hershey's only feeding 5.